Welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald and today we're going to show you how to make a standard hand-tied bouquet. So this is going to be a mixed bouquet that's kind of middle of the road, so it's really what you would probably do as kind of general shop work. So let's have a look at what we're going to use. We've got a selection of greenery. I've got leatherleaf, salal and aspidistra and eucalyptus. Eucalyptus gives you a contrast between that dark green and the lighter shade. We've got some lisianthus or eustoma. I've got 3 calla lilies that are going to be our main flower. Our secondary flower is going to be these pink aqua roses, and then we've got some chrysanthemums, 2 different types, and some carnations as filler. So let's get started. There's different ways to make a hand-tied bouquet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build it up as I go. So what I'm looking for first is to create a frame using the salal and just using a little bit off the leather leaf as well. So in my hand, I'm going to hold my hand quite loosely so it becomes effectively like a vase. And when I come in, I'm going over the top at the front, or if I'm going behind, I'm going really kind of right to left, and then this one's from left to right. So that really, you want to have a nice clean spiral. So this gives us the centre for our bouquet. Now I'm going to put my calla lilies in first. You can make a bouquet where you feed callas or you feed your flowers in after you've done a framework of greenery. If you wait until you've done a lot more and then try and put the callas in, you're much more likely to damage them. So what I've done is I've created that so that these stems cross and we've got those in the centre, but they are separated. Now I'm just going to come in between them with my pink roses. Now as long as I follow the idea with the hand tie or the stems, the spiralling, that I follow that dimension, that way of working, then I can go in either side. If you're not quite sure how to do that, then you can keep moving it around in your hand, but ultimately as you get more practice you won't need to do that. So I'm just putting in this greenery as well. I've also got a little bit of lily grass. Now the lily grass is just going to create a little change in texture as well. So these chrysanthemums are quite important. So we've got 3 lilies and we've got 3 roses. But what I want to do is I want to use these chrysanthemums to give the body of the bouquet. So I'm putting them in 1, 2, 3. So they're balanced within the bouquet. And for my other chrysanthemums, I've only got 2. I think if you go more than 5 chrysanthemums, unless it's a particularly large bouquet, it's going to look a little bit chrysanthi. So we want the select blooms to actually stand out more. So I'm just popping those in opposite each other so that they're spaced. And for my eustoma, what I can do is I can split that down so we can add some pieces in wherever we want. Depends on your eustoma as to what it's like. Sometimes it's not as long stemmed, so you're not going to be able to split it. I'm just adding that in. So we've got a nice clean crossover of the stems. And again, just adding a little bit more greenery there. So this kind of extra greenery that I'm adding now is becoming a little bit of a support for the flowers that we've got. With these aspidistra leaves, what I've done is I've folded them over and I've used a little bit of green tape. A little bit of green tape just secures it. You could staple it, but I find that they tend to unravel. Again, this is just creating a different texture and a different bit of variety into the bouquet. And as you're working, just look at your bouquet and see how are things going. Now this is a little bit empty in the middle, and I think I want to move this one over to here. So I can take it out, and as long as I follow that spiralling, then it's not a problem to actually move that to there. Now I've got these lovely carnations as well, so again I can do that. As the bottom of the stem comes in contact with the spiralling of the other stems, then ultimately those stems feed that carnation down into the bouquet. So they're actually fitting in perfectly with what's already there. So we've put a couple into the middle, but I'm also going to bring that to the sides as well. Make sure that your product is clean. You don't want any leaves going underneath the water once you fill it. So essentially this is our bouquet. Quite simple, nicely balanced. The focal flowers are in the middle. We've got nice clean stems. And I just want to tie this off now. I like to go around it a couple of times. This is like a plastic twine. What's good about it is it's flat. If you use something that's very round, it tends to cut into flowers. So just clean your workspace. So this is nice and clean. There's no greenery below that time point. To wrap it, I now have some cellophane. I've cut kind of rectangles of this two-tone cellophane. And I've got two of these. This is going to create a collar. So if we overlap these and put our bouquet in the middle, we can then fold that up. So we are getting to see the two tones of that colour of the cellophane coming through. Now again, let's scrunch this here, and again I want to tie it. If you tie your hand ties too loose, they're not going to stand, they're not going to feel secure. You can be too tight, I suppose, but essentially you want to be on the firm side rather than the not firm side. Now this is a piece of cellophane that I've cut that's essentially square, and this is going to become our base. So now I will cut the stems. Only when you're ready really to do this with water, or you're close to putting water on them, do you want to cut your stems. And I'm really just going to cut straight across. So I'm using secateurs because the material like the salal is quite hard. And that's straight across. What you can do is you can just take out the middle couple of stems to give you a dip, and when you open that up, that should stand. So what to do now is, if we lie that flat, we want this, when I fold this over, if you can envisage this corner being on top of that other corner, this bouquet wants to be in the middle of that square. So we put it over. We're not going to pull this tight, we don't want to move the stems. Just keep it nice and loose. So bring it in just to there, tuck it underneath and fold it over. Do the same on the other side. You can use a little bit of tape here just to hold it. And then, again, not being too firm or too tight, just bring the cell in and gather it at the time point. Now again, we're back to a piece of tie twine. You can go around that a couple of times and just tie that off securely. So we have our bouquet. Now we want to add our water. Now people sometimes wonder, how does the water get in there? It's just a case of pouring it directly into the centre of the bouquet. If you go too fast, it might come out, so just pour it at a nice steady pace. Because we've wrapped the bottom quite loosely, we've actually created more space for water. So we've got a good amount of water in there, and actually now the water's in, this will stand quite well as well. So, are we complete? Well, what I like to do to finish this off is just use a gift bag. With the gift bag, I've put a ribbon on. If you're not sure how to tie a ribbon in this style, then we do have a little video showing you how to do that. And just as an extra safety guard, I like to put another piece of cellophane inside. Because these bags are paper, if you've got a lot of things going on, like a peak period or that, you really don't want these bags getting wet. So this just gives you a little bit of safeguard if there was any leakage. And then we can drop our bouquet in. All you need to do now is write your card and get it ready for delivery. So there you go, it's a simple mixed hand tie bouquet. I hope you've enjoyed watching. My name's John McDonald and this was a production by Flower Juice. Thank you.